And CEO of The Unstoppable Woman. And today I have a ton of information for you about the new stimulus bill. So I've been tracking this, I've been watching, what they're saying, listening to press briefings every day, and they finally passed it and signed it. The president signed it yesterday, which is fantastic. Couldn't come too soon, right? And then this morning I was on a great conference call with my CFO and accountant, and she's fabulous. If you need a reference, I am happy to give you one. And I took some notes on all the things that she was saying. Lots of it has nothing to do with small businesses. It's for everyone, and I'm not really going to cover that. But I wanted to share with those of you who run your own business, you're a consultant, contractor, freelancer, sole proprietor, some of the things that are at play here, because there's a lot of good stuff, but you're gonna have to act. So the mindset piece is don't wait, act now. Like, be a quick decider, act on this immediately, because it's important that you get your name high in the queue. You don't wanna be stuck at the bottom 2 weeks from now, putting your applications in, doing these things, and having to wait longer for the economic relief that could be coming your way sooner. So act quickly. Okay, so the first thing that I want to say is that there is a tax credit for payroll taxes up to $10K per employee. And this starts as of April 1st. I didn't write down how long it's going to last for, but generally speaking, what I'm seeing is sort of like for the payroll stuff, it's for the next 2 months, but please don't quote me on that because I didn't write that down, okay? So this means that this credit is going to help you because you will be paying less in payroll taxes. You will also be able to defer a portion of your the employer portion of your Social Security taxes. Now, my accountant CFO said that she doesn't recommend this because you do have to pay that back, and unless you're in dire need right now for deferments, like you don't have any savings, you're struggling, you're going to go out of business kind of thing, she doesn't recommend deferring it because you will have to pay 50% back in 2021 and full payment by 2020. So keep that in mind. It's not like free money or anything. Okay. There was something, and I didn't get all the details on the parameters of this, but there is, a large unemployment credit, if you will. I'm not sure if I'm using the right terminology there, but one's unemployment benefits will be higher under this stimulus bill. So you have to look at some of your employees. This isn't the case for my employees, but for some of you who have lower wage people, and they might be actually better off if you fire them and they're able to get these higher unemployment benefits. They might be getting more from that than if you just keep them on payroll but reduce their hours or cut their payroll, cut their salaries. So keep that in mind. You're going to want to do some math on that and see what would be most beneficial for your employees. And balance that with some of the loan stuff that I will be talking about in a moment, because there's some key pieces to that. She also said, if you don't pay yourself that much, you might consider firing yourself, because then you would get these unemployment benefits as well. Not applicable to me, but I thought I'd pass that on. Okay, loans. There are two, count them, 1, 2 loans that you want to be aware of that are coming out of this stimulus package for businesses. There is an economic injury disaster relief loan. And this is not through a bank. This is direct through the SBA. You're going to want to apply for it through the SBA. You can do this online. I just did this myself this morning. It took me a huge number of hours to do it. And I consider myself extraordinarily well organized, so I have all the information at my fingertips, but you still have to put it in a particular format, and that takes some time. So do it when you have some spaciousness, have the sort of mental groundedness that you need, knowing that it's going to take a while to do this and not get flummoxed by how long it's taking, okay? But you do want to do it sooner than later, okay? So it's direct through bank. They will look at your credit score and ability to pay, as well as whether you were in business as of February 15th of this year. You don't have to prove loss of income. You simply have to show proof of income and that you experienced a disruption in your business. How much you receive is based on 6 months of operating expenses from 2019. Again, if I have the details of this slightly incorrect, I was writing notes very quickly, but I think I have them correct. You're going to want to do your own due diligence on this, okay? This is not legal advice. This is not financial advice. Please don't sue me, okay? You need to go do your own due diligence, but I want you to be made aware that this stuff is out there so that you can know what to be looking for. Okay. The form you're going to want to fill out is Form 5, and then there are 4 other pieces of documentation that you need to pull together along with that. Okay, there was, an authorization form for them looking at your taxes. You need to send in your federal taxes and schedules, associated schedules. If you've done your 2019 taxes already, use those. If not, use 2018. Your personal financial statement form, and a schedule of liabilities. It took a while to pull those things together, and I consider myself well organized. So again, allow yourself the time to do that. On the form, there's property damage stuff that's associated with things from natural disasters. Ignore that. You are going to want to choose economic injury as what you're applying for, just so you know. Okay. One thing that she said that I thought was really interesting, and I don't know where she's getting this data from, but I know she's been on lots of calls with various government agencies of late and reading things in detail, was that it's best to do this now, even if you don't think you need it, because you might need it in a couple of months. And then if you wait, you might not be attended to. And she said something very interesting. The money will run out. I don't quite know what to make of that, but it's something that made me pause. I had to think, and I got my application in today. So keep that in mind. The second loan type is the Paycheck Protection loan. This one's really interesting. It is through SBA accredited lenders. So if you do a quick Google search, and I can put a couple of, if you DM me, I have some links for you where you can find out more information about how to apply for this. But you go through banks that are SBA approved or lenders that are SBA approved, and you have to be matched with those. It's not just an online application as far as I can tell. That was slightly frustrating because I would love to get that done today and just be like, yes, help me out here. That would be fantastic. But it looks like it's a multi-part process where you first get matched with a lender or you call your bank, and then they step you through the application process. I could not find any online form for that today. But it's well worth going after because you will receive 2.5 times your monthly payroll liability. So if your payroll is $50K a month, then you are going to get $125,000, right? So you can see it's 2.5 times your monthly payroll liability. So in order to have this loan forgiven, this is a very important point, they will be forgiving 8 weeks of payroll. Found that interesting. So not the full loan amount of 2.5 times, but 2 times, okay? And but you have to keep your employees employed for the entire 2 months from March 1st, March and April, right? And you can't reduce their hours. You can bring them back on if you've already reduced, things like that. But in order to have the loan forgiven, you have to have been contributing to your employees' payroll, right? Their salaries for this entire 2-month period without a reduction in hours or salary. Okay. So that's a really big one to take advantage of. Both of those loans are worth going for if you have employees. If you don't have employees, then everything would be in the first loan. Okay, the last thing that I want to share, and most of you will probably know this already, but just in case you don't, the filing and payment deadline for taxes has been extended 90 days, so that's until July 15th. So that gives you a lot of wiggle room, and your IRA contributions are also deferred to July 15th. So it's still a good idea to do your taxes now. Like, we got our taxes done so that I could see if I owed anything in my business, but I don't, so that's great. Thanks, great accountant. If you need a great accountant, I have a great one for you. Happy to refer her to you. And then on that note, she is doing a webinar on Wednesday that she's going to step people through how to fill out these forms and answer questions live on the webinar. So it's not free, it's $99, but if you are someone who gets frazzled filling out forms and like the numbers make you cray, this is probably a great way for you to get some support. So if you want to be hooked up with that, please DM me or comment in the post or whatever in this live, and I will send you her contact information. She's great, very grounded, but also has a beautiful mindset around abundance as well. So that's what I have for you today. Let's do a little brief summary. There's a payroll tax credit up to $10K per employee. You can defer a portion of your Social Security taxes. It might be more beneficial for your employees, if they're not highly paid, to fire them because there will be higher unemployment benefits. Please listen back to that and what I shared with you. You might even, if you don't pay yourself that much, it might even be a benefit to fire yourself. Kind of crazy. Not the case for me, but it depends, nor any of my employees, but you might have a different pay structure there. There are two types of loans. Economic injury disaster relief loan, apply for it now. I went through that. Listen to the rest of the live if you missed it. And the Paycheck Protection loan, super important. 8 weeks of payroll is going to be forgiven if you keep your employees employed without reducing their hours. So that's pretty amazing. There are a lot more details, and then the tax deadline for filing, paying, and IRA contributions is now July 15th, 90 days out. Okay, that's a lot. And if you want to be hooked up with my accountant, she's fabulous. Okay, that's what I got for you today. Have an awesome day. Be unstoppable. You can do this. Mwah. Bye.